Thanks for visiting the patient and the weather today. I'm meteorologist Al Peterlin. I'd like to talk about the weather health risk today for December 31st, 2025. We do keep additional graphics available at tpatw.com, and we maintain a storefront on Amazon, and purchases on Amazon made through our storefront, Patientweather, support the activities of Patientweather. Looking at the surface map for the 31st, you can see that basically high pressure dominates the country, although it is rather warm high pressure to the south, very cold high pressure pushing down into the northern plains, and that frontal system stretches all the way from central Montana across southern Nebraska over to basically Cleveland, and then up to Buffalo, where there's a touch of low pressure, but really acting as a warm front. You see, we have a lot of moisture from New Mexico into Nevada and across all of California. And you see, we have a shadow of snow across the Great Lakes, Michigan, Indiana, Illinois, Ohio, up into Pennsylvania, and across New England. Looking at our vitality index, which is a measure of all of those weather elements that might have an impact on human health, and you can see it basically covers the country, but the most significant areas are up here in the upper plains with that cold infusion, down here in the southwest where we actually have some moisture flowing in, here up the plains, moisture coming in. And then, of course, up here in the northeast, where that frontal system, low pressure center, is pushing on off into New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, and Prince Edward Island. Looking at pressure change, and pressure change is important for many with both headache and arthritis, and it really takes some significant changes. And although it's a lot of falling pressure across much of the heart of the country, you can see that the most significant areas are here in Ohio, a little bit of activity here in northern Texas, across Oklahoma and into Kansas, and then a little bit more up here in the Pacific Northwest, Idaho, and the westernmost sections of Washington and Oregon. We have rising pressure up here in the northern plains, North Dakota, and into Minnesota, and then rising pressure up here in New England, but again, that will be feigning and passing soon. Temperature change also very interesting with all that frigid weather in the east. Looks like we'll be warming up through much of the southern half of the country, actually warming up even into New England, New Hampshire, Vermont, and Maine, but another infusion of very cold air here in the Dakotas and Minnesota, stretching into Wisconsin. Looking at dew point temperature change, and you can very much see this activity as it unfolds. We have that increasing moisture here in the southwest, California, and Nevada and Arizona. Lots of moisture coming up the plains all the way up north into New England, and that dropping or falling dew point temperatures up here in the far northern plains. It's interesting, but we have a very sharp influx of moisture here again across southern Florida. Looking at our change in the availability of oxygen in the atmosphere, we do have some risks of migraine, and significantly here in the southwest, central and southern California, into Arizona, the far southwestern portions of Arizona. Interesting risk of migraine across southern Florida on up into northern Florida, actually picking up the islands and even down into Cuba. We have a significant risk of migraine here in North and South Dakota, Minnesota, Wisconsin, and across the Michigan Upper Peninsula, and trying to touch at least northern Michigan. Note that risk of migraine stretches back over to the east and trying to cut off portions of Maine. We have a risk of asthma and arthritis across much of the remainder of the country, and yes, there's a touch here in the Pacific Northwest, but the most significant area of asthma and arthritis is here across North Texas, Oklahoma, really picking up across Arkansas into Missouri, another small area of significant risk from Indiana into Ohio, and then again picking up here in northern Vermont, New Hampshire into southern Maine. Thanks for visiting the patient and the weather. Your comments are appreciated. And if you hurt, won't you tell us where you're located?